live in a world full of unexplainable and mysterious events that happen above us in the space and in the sky. This is already the 5th installment of Mysterious Sky Events on my channel. In the videos that you are about to see, you will probably agree that the videos provide no logical explanation for what you are seeing. So, let's begin. In June 2009, this video was recorded in Canada. We can see 2 perfect circles and several objects running along the border of these circles. Most people agree that it had to be a UFO. Let me know what you think it could be. These videos come from Kazakhstan. A hurricane slammed into the city with extremely powerful winds. Immediately, day turned into night. Here's a fragment of how dark it became. Some people think that someone was testing some form of climate weapon because this hurricane was just so weird. Just take a look for yourself how quickly day turned into night.
Ты чё? Ты чё? Эй! Хотите машину? Она когда пришла? Ё-моё. Вот это день. Это ливень такой? Прости, боже мой. Молитесь. Надо молиться. Ой. Все, уходит. Какой дождь? Смерть.
In this video, we see a strange, mysterious phenomenon in the sky. You will probably immediately think that it is tail smoke from a jet or a plane. But when you take a look at the zoomed-in version of the video, you can spot a small, mysterious, unidentified object. What do you think it could be? This video shows 2 mysterious objects that remind you of light from projectors. This happened above a Norwegian city. One of these lights flies by the camera at an extremely fast speed. To me, it doesn't look like the lights from projectors. I went further to try and find more information about these mysterious lights, and I found another similar event that took place in Colorado. Same 2 objects that this time appeared above the mountain and desert. Recently, residents of China have begun seeing more and more paranormal events in the sky, which resemble ultra-modern cities, giant alien ships, or weird, enormous giants. A couple weeks ago, in the eastern city Xinjiang, witnesses were able to record another mysterious event in the sky. Local residents immediately labeled this event as the door to hell. The most popular assumption made was that this is the door to another world appearing above the city. Other guesses were that it's a magic carpet or a demonstration of a next generation phone. Skeptics believe that it's not a paranormal event, but rather just a projection pointed into the sky. This video was recorded just a week ago, and it immediately started to gain popularity on the internet. On the video, we can see how in the cloudy sky, a mysterious white object is moving in circles. Skeptics think that it could be a pack of pigeons or just floating plastic bags. Let me know what you think. Several videos of one paranormal event were recorded by witnesses in England. They were recorded on July 18, 2017. This strange object that quickly changes its shape first appeared above the sea. Another witness saw it later above the highway. Another girl recorded it above a mountain. Here are more videos of the same event by random people in different locations. A lot of people think that it just could have been a cloud of birds or bees. Thank you all for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think about these mysterious videos, and I will see you in the next video. Regardless of the fact that the people of the world now have advanced technologies, there are still a lot of unknown events that take place in our world, especially in the sky. So, I would like to show you some mysterious sky events recorded on video. Weird flashes appear all over the world that make people wonder what they are. The majority of scientists believe that these flashes are due to asteroids and meteors flying by. Here is a video of a mysterious flash that was recorded in Russia in 2017. The local residents were confused and scared. The local police received a lot of phone calls. People also said that they heard a loud noise. So as a result, many believe that it was a meteor flashing by. It could not have been lightning, since that day there was no reports of thunderstorms in the area. In South Carolina, this woman recorded this strange sky that looked like waves from the ocean. It could be a coincidence. However, a lot of people believe that it's the result of the secret weapon, HARP, that is developed to manually affect the weather.
This is what the sky looks like. Never seen it in my life. It looks almost like, I don't even know how to explain it.
On July 9, 2015, Texas residents witnessed a UFO that appeared above them. The most interesting thing is that instead of the regular plate-shaped UFO ship, they saw a geometric cube. Of course, there are a bunch of photos by different people posted on social websites. Here is one of them. This man from El Paso also signed under the photo that before the cube's appearance, a strong wind appeared from out of nowhere. Here, another man snapped pictures of this event. From his angle, we can see that it's not a cube, but rather a cuboid. Another woman reported that she saw this cube when she went for her lunch break. At first she thought that it was just a huge balloon, but when she took a closer look, she realized that the cube had a really enormous size, and it was making a weird noise. Of course, this cube could be a prank, but what if it was really an alien ship? On December 2016, residents of a Russian city recorded this weird UFO object. People recorded this UFO and uploaded it to the social network websites. See these two unknown objects that appear in the sky.
Первый раз в жизни такое?
Вообще.
Четко ведь видно.
Конечно, она ворочается.
Right after the New Year, 3 suns rose above several cities in Europe. 2 or 3 suns appearing in the sky is an optical illusion that is very rare. It usually only happens in really cold weather when the sun reflects lights into the icy air. This unknown event was recorded by a telescope in Hawaii. Scientists believe that the source of this light came from the Earth. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night.
¿Qué mierda es eso? ¿Qué es eso?
Antena apa gitu?
Смотрите по краям, как это.
Ага,
Да, дядь Коль?
ага.
О, что-то как ходит.
Да. Что за хрень?
Кого-то кто-то ходит там вроде.
Позвонили, нет, Ленуське? Она выходит? Блин, прикольно.
Маски прятки. Коля, позови бабы.
Wheel in the sky. Speculation has settled firmly on a failed Russian rocket test. Russia's defense ministry has refused to comment, but military sources are telling leading Russian newspapers that there was a test of a Russian Bulava intercontinental ballistic missile that failed yesterday. It had previously been announced that there would be tests of the Bulava in the region between December 7th and 14th, and specifically from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, according to one Russian newspaper.
מאיפה זה מגיע? תקשיב. צלם מלמטה.
Face.
Esa es la culebra en Yuridia.
Ya se fue otra vez para atrás. Pero ya estaba más cerca.
No está cayendo, pero... Bueno, esto es de Miami. Si los camionetes vienen aquí, creo que nos vamos a visitar. Oye, va para abajo, papi. this thing, man. 80. 80. Viene apagado. Viene apagado. Está cayendo.
An investigative journalist has been given photographic proof of the Nibiru system, which is on course to smash into the Earth in just 3 days. But not is all as it seems. Researcher David Meade predicted in his book Planet X, the 2017 arrival, the mythical system would be visible in our skies from September 23. He had gone quiet on the subject after Nibiru failed to pass us last month, on a date of which he prophesied. Now he has told how David Taylor, an investigative journalist, with the Rocky Mountain News has received conclusive photographic proof Nibiru exists and details of how it is about to strike us, within the next 72 hours, from a shadowy observatory official named only as Willis. It sounds like the fictional plot of a Hollywood Armageddon blockbuster movie, probably because it is. Mr. Meade, who made headlines across the globe from September, due to his off-key prediction, has gone from doom prophet to screenwriter. Writing over 4 connected articles on the planetxnews.com website, Mr. Meade outlined a treatment for such a film. The Nibiru myth emerged in 1976, when writer Zecharia Sitchin claimed 2 ancient Middle Eastern cultures, the Babylonians and Sumerians, told of a giant planet dubbed Nibiru which orbited the Sunday. The Nibiru or Planet X theory claims a mini-solar system consisting of a sun, planets and moons is lurking on the edge of our system, with a huge 3,600 miles orbit of the Sun. Nibiru believers are convinced the rogue system is making its way from the outer solar system inwards, where it will wreak havoc on Earth as it passes at about 4 million miles away. They say the planet will cause the poles to switch, sparking great earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. After nothing happened in October, when it was originally supposed to hit, believers now claim it will be on an approach path, with the Earth between November 20th and December 20th. Now Mr. Meade hopes to turn the conspiracy theory into a box office smash. He wrote, "This is a feature film treatment which is high concept, and suitable for any major production company. It is extremely visual, with locations in California, Arizona, Chile and Argentina, targets a broad audience, and sparks a most fascinating what-if question. What if the stories behind Planet X are real? What if the government is watching its inbound approach, but not telling the public and instead engaging in a massive cover-up? This is an incredible true story based upon my best-selling non-fiction books on Planet X." Mr. Meade's blurring of the lines between fiction and conspiracy theory will no doubt fuel cynics who suggest that doommongers, such as he, predicts the end of the world to cash in on book and film sales. It also begs the question, why would someone who believed we were in the final days be looking to long-term movie projects that may take years to come to fruition? After his October deadline for the passing of Nibiru came and went, Mr. Mead appeared to go quiet about the Nibiru timescale, until revealing details about his planned film on October 23. Meanwhile, scores of other armchair and YouTube prophets continue to claim it is coming, by moving the goalposts when dates come and go. Of course, if you believe the conspiracy theorists, NASA is engaged in a massive cover-up and knows Nibiru is about to strike. However, reassuringly, NASA's official line is that conspiracy theorists, such as Mr. Mead, are completely wrong, and the Nibiru myth is an internet hoax. Dr. David Morrison, a scientist with the space agency, said, "There is no credible evidence whatever for the existence of Nibiru. There are no pictures, no tracking, no astronomical observations. I can quite specifically say how we know Planet X or Nibiru does not exist and does not threaten Earth. Firstly, if there was a planet headed into the inner solar system that was going to come close to the Earth, it would already be inside the orbit of Mars. It would be bright, it would be easily visible to the naked eye. If it was up there it would be easy to see it, all of us could see it." Space boffin Dr. Brian Cox has also insisted Planet X does not exist. And Associate Professor John T. Horner, an astronomer at the University of Southern Queensland in Australia, said, "I've never heard of anybody who's an actual astronomer talk about Nibiru before. It's basically an urban myth. It's like having a biologist coming out and talking about werewolves and the Sasquatch being real. You just wouldn't hear it."
West Wyoming, land of geysers, mountains, and lakes, is also sitting atop a super volcano. And it just took what scientists describe as a deep breath, causing miles of ground to rise dramatically. So what does this mean? Well, joining us right now is Michio Kaku. He is a physics professor at the City University of New York and the author of the upcoming book, Physics of the Future. Thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be on.
So the last time this happened was 640,000 years ago. We're due?
We are due. Forget Yogi Bear. Okay, forget Old Faithful. It's sitting on top of a sleeping giant. Now, if you're sleeping next to an 800-pound gorilla, you monitor every burp, every snore of this gigantic gorilla, because when it blows, it could destroy the United States as we know it.
This is a pretty scary prospect. I want to just show people what we're talking about here when we talk about this super volcano, and we have a little thing to show you, a map with some of the details. So that's where it is. It's beneath Yellowstone. It's been there, as we know. I guess it's erupted 3 times in 2.1 million years. But what they're worried about is the fact that they say that the ground has started to swell in levels that they have not seen before, 10 inches in some places in the past year. What does that tell us?
It tells us that there is activity in this supervolcano, which erupts roughly every 600 million years. And the last eruption was 640 million years ago.
Oh, 640 million or 1,000?
1,000 years ago, I'm sorry, right.
Because then we had some more time.
Then we have some more time, right. But that's what's making us very nervous, because the cycle time corresponds to the present-day era. So every single burp, murmur of this gigantic potential supervolcano, including the rise of the sea level, has to be watched very carefully.
All right, so when we talk about this, and we have pictures pictures of Mount St. Helen erupting back in 1980. Let's just show this right now. You say that an explosion with this supervolcano under Yellowstone, and there we're seeing the Mount St. Helens, would be 1,000 times bigger than this. What type of damage are we talking about here?
We're talking about immediate damage out to 100 miles from the site. That is total devastation, basically wiping out everything in sight. However, the real damage goes out to 500 miles if you include volcanic ash, poisonous gases, death of wildlife and vegetation, and that's a ring about 1,000 miles across. That's the heartline of America.
It would pretty much wipe out Earth as we know it?
It would wipe out the United States as we know it. And again, we don't want to panic anybody. It could happen tomorrow, or it could happen 100,000 years from now. It's black magic trying to predict exactly when it's going to blow, but we do know one thing. One day, it will blow.
And you say that something on this scale is what wiped out the dinosaurs.
65 million years ago, another supervolcano coincided with this meteor that hit Mexico, and we think it was a double whammy that knocked out the dinosaurs. So it's something that we take very seriously, but again, the cycle time is measured on the scale of hundreds of thousands of years.
Would there be anything we could do to prepare or to get people out? I mean, how much of a warning might we get with this eruption?
All you can do is run. You don't get much warning. What happened is the ground starts to rise, more and more earthquakes take place, more ash and volcanic gases start to be unleashed. That's about the only warning we get, because we do not have a good way to predict volcanic eruptions.
Are we getting a better way to do it, or are we just at the mercy of Mother Nature?
We're still clueless. We're still monitoring it very carefully, looking for the warning signs. That's why this sudden rise in the Earth, even though it's not immediately dangerous, is being looked at very carefully, because we have no experience with supervolcanoes. We've seen Mount St. Helens. We've seen Krakatoa. But a supervolcano erupting in our lifetime, we have no understanding of the scope of that thing. We just see the evidence of previous eruptions.
It's amazing. So you say it could be tomorrow, it could be in 100,000 years, but it's under there.
It's there, and it will happen. At one point, it will destroy North America as we know it.
Man, that explains us, really explains us. The spokesperson says that statement comes after the government looked at several data sources other than this tape, although they will not tell us what those data sources were. With us now, the physicist, Michio Kaku. He is the author of Physics of the Impossible and is about to explain to us exactly what happened. Thank you for coming.
Glad to be on.
Help me. You've gone point by point by point.
Frame by frame, I've gone through the video.
So you stopped this video and you looked at frame by frame by frame, and what did you learn?
At first, I thought, oh my God, an unauthorized launch of a ballistic missile. This is scandalous.
Or an accident.
Or an accident, right?
Yeah.
But then I said to myself, wait a minute. When you go frame by frame, something is wrong. First of all, the object is not accelerating. Rockets have booster rockets that take it to 18,000 miles per hour. This thing is cruising at a constant velocity. Second, it's changing direction slightly. Ballistic missiles never change directions. Third, it's going in the wrong direction. We fire from Los Angeles, Vandenberg. We fire east to west to Kwajalein in the Pacific, sometimes north over a polar orbit. This thing was going northeast in the wrong direction. And also, even though it looks like it's going vertically up, maybe you're looking at it edge on. When you look at an airplane going edge on, it looks like it's going straight up when it's actually cruising very gently. Not only that, contrails expand rapidly at the base. The older it is, the larger they expand.
Like the contrail right there.
Right. So it looks as if that thing is moving away from you, right? Actually, it's probably moving toward you.
Huh.
It's an optical illusion caused by the fact that we look at the bottom, we think the bottom is closer than the top. When actually,
it's fatter.
Yeah, because it's fatter, because the contrails expand. Now, there's airplanes from Hawaii to Phoenix that go right over Los Angeles at around exactly the time which is in question. So it's probably a commercial airliner that is cruising very slowly, and the killer is, this is now the smoking gun. We have radar analysis of the entire area. We see no evidence of a fast-moving object. All we see are airplanes. That's all we see in the area. So why doesn't the Pentagon simply come out and say what we physicists believe, that it is an airplane? And the reason is it's always hard to disprove a negative.
Right.
It's always easier to prove a positive, but to disprove a negative is very difficult. You can't rule out this possibility or that probability with a certain % error, right? That's why the Pentagon is being very coy about this, I think.
Well, you know, my problem with all this from the very beginning has been we keep track of every single aircraft and every part of our sky at every second of every day. Every 4.3 seconds it updates.
Right.
So we know where every jet is every 4.3 seconds. So can't they look at this video and go, oh, this was United 1231 en route from... I mean, that would help. Why put us through all of this?
Well, it's hard to disprove a negative. In other words, the radar...
But if you were the FAA, you can say, all right, we know exactly the time this was taken because it went live on their air. They can say this was this flight. Why won't they?
I think they need a new PR director.
Okay.
I think that's what they really need, because they really need a dose of reality. You know, the Pentagon has to interface with the public.
Yeah.
The public is the taxpayer. They pay the bills. And the taxpayer has a right to know what is going over their skies. And also, jet pilots also weighed in on it. They say they saw nothing unusual. But how can you say that when there was this gigantic contrail in their own backyard?
Yep. Why wasn't everybody on the coast screaming?
The answer is jet pilots look down from above where it looks horizontal and ordinary. We look at it from the bottom up, and we see these gigantic plumes of gas shooting straight up. but somebody up there looking down sees a horizontal plume of exhaust. Therefore, that's why the pilots say, I saw nothing. There's nothing out of the ordinary there.
It's a jet, isn't it?
It's a jet. In other words, you look at all the dots, and you take the simplest line that goes across all the dots, and that's a jet. Sorry for all you conspiracy buffs.
Well, I'm sure they were having fun with it. We were enjoying the video, but I can tell you're very smart. You know exactly what you're talking about. But at the end of this program, I'm going to show them what it really is. It's aliens. But I'm going to show them how it works. Thank you for setting us straight. Very helpful. One charity finding a relatively...
My question is about gravity, particularly about the speed of gravity. We all know that the speed of light is the ultimate in regards to speed, but does this include also the speed of gravity? If the sun disappeared instantaneously, would gravity also disappear instantly or at the speed of light? I'd appreciate your answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, your answer actually is not resolvable at the present time, but I'll give you the consensus of almost every physicist who studied the question. If the sun were to disappear right now, we know that it would take 8 minutes for the light from the disappearing sun to reach the Earth. We wouldn't know it for 8 minutes. Now, Einstein says nothing can go faster than light. Even gravity cannot go faster than light, meaning that we wouldn't feel the gravitational shock wave for 8 minutes. The Earth would not be thrown out of its orbit and flung into deep space for 8 minutes. And then the question is, how do I know that? No one has ever done this experiment. Gravity is very weak unless you go to the galactic or the stellar scale. And so for the most part, you never feel the effects of gravity that can be measured easily in the laboratory. So it's quite difficult to do experiments on gravity, and nobody has measured the speed of gravity, because gravity would change so quickly. However, every scientist believes in relativity theory because it works every time, and so we think, but we cannot prove, that it would take 8 minutes for the disturbance of the vanishing sun to reach the planet Earth. Now, one day, we may be able to do this experiment with quasars in outer space, with exploding stars, exploding black holes and things.